It's a waiver wire Wednesday, and we're rolling into week 15, the fantasy football playoffs, and we got some guys to look at off the waiver wire. We've been pumping out waiver wire content every single day this week, and we're going to keep it going as we're covering every single position today, giving you a good overview and giving you some deep dives as well. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We go deeper than anybody else on YouTube and in the fantasy football streets when it comes to covering the waiver wire, because you need those deep prospects, those diamonds in the rough, those deeper plays, and then on top of that, we deep dive all the trending prospects so you know that player's background, their advanced metrics, their situation, so you can make your decision. So you're not waiting a whole waiver wire video article just to get that much information. That's why we do that You Need series. Then at the end of every week with the Must Start series, we break down the games and help you set your lineups. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. We will be here next year also to help you out if you're out of it. But who might not be here next year, Philip Rivers. Granddad Philip Rivers. And I think you guys already know what to do with him. I think you're kind of going to watch this play out. Really depends on your format, your bench strength, 1 QB, 2 QB, super flex. 2 QB super flex, you're probably very interested. You should be very interested. If it's a 2 QB super flex where, like, you're scraping quarterbacks, yes. And I think he's going to be a money ball play. What I see and have forecasted in my head, because we don't really have true data on this, is that he's going to let the nuts hang. Just like he did making them 10 kids, he's going to let the nuts hang. He's going to sling it. He's not going to care. He's not going to be ultra conservative, because why? It's not like he's playing for a future. He's a granddad. He's 44 years old. He knows what he's doing. He's friends with the coach. He's friends with this community. Keeps tabs. He runs his offense with his high school team. He's locked in here. He's going to be throw god out there. More for Superflex 2 QB right now. If you're in the playoffs, you're watching from afar. But maybe you stash, maybe you don't. Right now, a good stream play, potentially. Could be rough, could be amazing. Might have a lot of passing attempts. They might lean on a little bit on Jonathan Taylor, a little bit more than usual. But I think he's going to be aggressive with the football. Harold Fannin. He's on all the waiver wire articles, pretty much. Some of the fantasy football sites just kind of started coasting here in the back end of the season. We called that out on Monday. They're coasting on the waiver wire content. And Harold Fannin's in some of them he's not. And some of them, I'm looking at you, Fantasy Life, he's the only player, the only tight end to look at when he's rostered in a lot of leagues. Part of this is Shedeur Sanders giving him a good boost. He's been good. He's a solid prospect. We liked him out of Bowling Green. If you're hanging out for the draft analysis, we caught him out as a good prospect. We liked him a lot. We liked him at the Senior Bowl. He's a big-time producer. He's going to have a good career. You got Pittsburgh in the championship game there, Week 17. You got Cincinnati if you got a Week 18 championship. That's going to rock you pretty hard. You got Buffalo there, which could be an advantageous game script. You got the Bears here, which that's a game script that could get you some firepower. Jayden Reed is back, and he should be rostered. I've been recommending rostering him for weeks now. He should have been rostered, but the thing is, like, the news hit while we were on live. We were talking, and that was a big thing in the chat, them telling each other to pick him up, to go get him, which is an indicator to me that there are leagues out there where he's not picked up. Calling this out for you. You got another good wide receiver from the Packers to look at. Give him grace to ramp up. I definitely see the Bears game as a good opportunity. The Ravens game, that's something to forecast forward. Jaylen Wright. I've been saying this all week, that this could be a pickup that may not work out for you because Devin H.N. will probably be back. Looks like we got to see the practice reports, and that's mainly going to be Wednesday, Thursday. I get it, it's Wednesday now, but this is the morning, guys. Devin H.N.'s still in bed right now, guys. But maybe they slow it down. I just don't see it. I think they got to put the foot on the gas. If he feels like he's good to go, he's going to be out there. Jaylen Wright, if he's not going to be out there, is the hot hand right now. That's something to pay attention to. You also got Steelers on the road. You got Cincy. You got Tampa Bay. Another thing, too, is if he does get rolled out there and he gets banged up again, you got Cincy and Tampa Bay, so maybe this is a cuff you want to pay attention to. Shedeur Sanders, we're to the point he's a legit fantasy asset, and we got a schedule here that's nice. That is nice. You look at the Bears' record, you're kind of worried about that, but teams can throw in the Bears, and they got enough firepower to make the game script juicy, and that could be very advantageous. Same thing with Buffalo. They make them game scripts juicy. Now they can make them a slobber knocker too. We've had that a few times this year. That could be a worry, especially with the Browns defense. But that could be a game script that could push Shedeur's passing totals, the attempts, the yards. We don't care if he plays well as long as he doesn't get pulled, but why would you go back to Dillon Gabriel after all this? We just need him to push the football downfield. Then you got Pittsburgh in the championship game. They give up a lot of fantasy points to wide receivers and tight ends. And then if you got a week 18, you got the Bengals on the road. Like, that's a solid set of games. Darren Waller also has a solid set of games, and we've been talking about this for maybe almost a month now. Pittsburgh, Cincy, Tampa Bay, good back and forth. Week 18, maybe that might be more of a pass funnel game. Maybe Pittsburgh and Cincy give up a lot of fantasy points to tight ends. Whether it runs bad or runs good, you do have advantageous opportunities there with Darren Waller. Jayden Higgins is a good upside wide receiver here. Like, this is a round 2 pick that could be blossoming into something more, at least as a good role player in this passing attack next to Nico Collins. Downfield, can get it, good contested catch play. If the game script opens up, he could blossom. But looking at the workload here since week 10, 7, 7, 9, 5, 5 in targets. Since week 8, 8, 1, then 7, 7, 9, 5, and 5 in targets. Like, the workload's there. We're going to fire some more, and we've been firing. It's about every other game. Every other game. So you got a 50-50 shot with Jayden Higgins. I'm not going to say he's going to hit or guaranteed, but it's a wide receiver with a 50-50 shot. Ollie Gordon, same thing as Jaylen Wright. Same story here. He might even usurp him. It could be cold hand versus hot hand in game, in moment. He's a good running back prospect. At the Senior Bowl, he was killing it. Looked like more of a tight end. He was so big. Good around the red zone. Could be more of a share. Everything's not guaranteed with Achin, and everything's not guaranteed with Jaylen Wright either. If I'm looking at Jaylen Wright, thinking about Jaylen Wright, other people need to be thinking about Ollie Gordon. Trevor Lawrence is starting to show himself, starting to show what we thought of the Clemson Trevor Lawrence, the high school version. We got some game strips coming up where he's going to have to prove it a little bit more. Jets could be slower. That's an interesting one. So it's not going to push them to bad, but it could be slower for yardage totals. Denver on the road, that's the one I was thinking about when I was thinking that. That's the one I was looking at. Denver on the road. Indy on the road seems like it's going to be a fun one for a championship game. And he's on waivers in a lot of leagues, and he's been solid. He's at least hitting fairway on his low games, and he has potential to break it loose. These wide receivers, the addition of Jacoby Myers has been a blessing for him, and he's been rocking his yardage totals a little bit more. You're looking at the last 3 weeks, 256, 229, 244. Doesn't sound like it's gangbusters, but a lot of these weeks, we're getting like 8 to 10 quarterbacks under 200 yards. And Trevor Lawrence is at least keeping you afloat there. Ben Sinnott. Now, he may not even be the top passing offense at the tight end position for the Commanders, but he is the guy with the upside here. He is the prospect that you want to pay attention to. The fantasy football community loves this guy. They were like, next Gronk, next this guy, next that guy. And I'm seeing the tweets. You're seeing a 25% snap share. Ertz is done. You have the Giants on the road, Philly, Dallas. Just a good slate of games. I would stash him, but very hard to start him. Very hard, especially if you're good at tight end. If you made the playoffs, you probably are. You probably are. I would stash him just in case he starts rocking it. But I have limited expectations, but he's talented enough to earn a stash. Ryan Flournoy, this is all on CeeDee Lamb, and it's Wednesday. Today's the day we're going to start getting that news. Thursday, Friday, it's going to be more in cement. You're going to have a clear picture. But a lot of you guys made your decisions last night. A lot of you guys are here for the confirmation bias. If Lamb's out or Pickens is out, Flournoy is going to get opportunities. Flournoy has cashed before, too. It was against the Jets, 9 targets, over 100 yards. This is his second 100-yard game. There's a lot of wide receivers getting a lot more work than him that does not have 2 100-yard games on the season. That's harder to do than what you realize, and he has the potential for that, and Dak doesn't care, and Dak will push it all over the field. Now you're looking at Blake Corum. He should be picked up. He should be picked up. He should be on a roster. If not, you better get him on a roster, and hopefully it's yours. If you got Kyron, what are you doing? What are you doing? He turns into baby Kyron if Kyron's out. Like, he's going to turn into Kyron Williams if Kyron's out. And he's going to start turning into Kyron Williams, splitting the workload. They've said they want to split it. They're showing that Kyron's got an ankle. They want him fresh, and they got baby Kyron. So why not try to get him fresh? Why not try? And Kyron's still getting a good bit of work. He's still getting okay opportunities. Blake Corum's very explosive. You just look at the yards per attempt in these games: 4.6, 308, 446, 431, 125, 343, 1157, 10.67. So not always perfect, but also showing you some games here where we're average or a lot higher as well. And you see it on the tape. He's very explosive. J.J. McCarthy. It's the schedule here. Like, this could be the bounce back. At Dallas, at Giants, Justin Jefferson. He slings the rock, though. He's aggressive with it. He can be. This could be his get-right moment. I've been hard on him, mainly because he was gifted like Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, veteran running back. He was gifted this with a team that wants a fast-paced offense that's usually top 5 in pace of play. We cover this every single year, and it ain't really materializing. And you've seen backup quarterbacks do well in the system. Just thrust it in there. Remember Dobbs? Remember the other quarterbacks? Remember that? Remember that? You got 2 matchups here. If we don't bounce back against the Cowboys and Giants, and now you got Detroit and Green Bay on the docket, we don't have a bounce back in 2 of these next 4 games. I am very, very much questioning him even further going into the offseason. Gesicki should be rostered, had a lot of start-sit questions with him. I look at him as a good gamble tight end. Good gamble tight end, which means he's a good tight end. Not many tight ends that you can reference as a good gamble. Baltimore, always fun game scripts. Miami on the road could be interesting. You got Arizona, decent schedule going forward, good volume in this offense, a good get to look at. A.D. Mitchell's getting targets. And that's probably going to hit once every 3 to 4 games, considering it's the Jets. If he was on another team with this volume, he'd probably be hitting every other game. 6, 7, 12, 6. He creates separation. He has butter for hands. So that is a weird-ass mix. Plus, being on the Jets, that came out funny because I got to pull water under my lip right now, but I'm not going to edit it out. A.D. Mitchell's got a lot of upside. He's got 4.3 speed, projected to get drafted in the first round, fell to the second round. That was a stacked wide receiver class that's not really living up to it this year. Jacksonville, Saints, Patriots, gamble flex. That's a big gamble, scary gamble, and you really got to put your nuts on the table with that one. Tyler Allgeier is a handcuff play. One of the top handcuffs in the league, really up there with Blake Corum. If Bijan goes down, you know he's getting all the work. You know he's good for the fairway. 10, 11, 12, 13-ish, right in that area. You know he's good every week. And if we can move the football well, maybe a couple touchdowns get us over the hump. Tampa Bay, Arizona, Rams, championship game. But again, it's Bijan going down. And then also he's kind of functional if you're in a dire need, but now it's put up or shut up time. So you might be looking at those upside wide receivers a little bit more if you're that dire of a need. But Tampa Bay, Arizona, 2 nice matchups. Tyler Shough here. It's not about being a good quarterback. It's about being good for fantasy football. And he is a bit of a gamble. And some of you guys are just streaming anyways. You look at the schedule. I like Carolina. The Jets could be advantageous, but iffy. Same thing with Tennessee. Tennessee can give you a scrap, but also, like, give you some fantasy points as well. Not guaranteed, but this is also a quarterback that's bad, that's getting a lot of volume in multiple different ways. He's taken off with it the last 3 weeks, 7, 6, 7 carries. You're looking at him throwing the ball. There's times where he's thrown it 40 sometimes. Roughly, he's around that 25 to 30-ish area in passing attempts. But last 2 weeks, over 20 fantasy points. 3 of the last 4 over 20 fantasy points. Gamble quarterback, but you're streaming, you know what you're getting into. Brenton Strange runs a lot of routes, sees targets in his offense, and is getting good volume here. 5, 4, and 6. Trevor Lawrence is spreading it around. Trevor Lawrence is elevating right now. I don't see big media talking about this too much. And last game was in the rain, too. That was a monsoon. Like, supposedly. Not the whole time. But while we were on live stream, my context from saying that is the over-under dropped drastically because everyone was scared of that. And the fact is, we still got 6 targets in that matchup. We got Jets, Denver, Colts. Not the best set of game scripts there. Could be advantageous with the Colts game in championship week. Jets game could be slower, but could be all right. It really depends on how it breaks off. But running a lot of routes, seeing some targets, could be a good gamble for you. Rashid Shaheed's a deep threat dandy. Deep ball baller. That's what he is. And the thing about this, he's going to blow up in a couple games. You got Indy, Rams, at Carolina. I think he'll give you one more. And it's going to be random. It could be against the Rams. That tough matchup where you got to go through your progressions, push one downfield, he gets it, and that's it. It could be against Carolina championship game. I think he's got one more. If you have return yards, you got to start thinking about him. 148 last game. I get it. You're jumping in on that. But again, 67 on another, 38, 29. If you get special teams points out of him, he's more advantageous. Manny Wilson, one of the top handcuff running backs in football. We also know what's going to happen if Josh Jacobs goes down. If I got Josh Jacobs, I got to make this happen. After Denver, you got the Bears, you got Baltimore. That could wrap it up. That could also sink your ship. Because if you lose Josh Jacobs and you're in a championship game or against the Bears, where those can be some fun game scripts here, and he gets enough volume to score 13, 14, 15, and he volumes into that, crosses the goal line, catches a couple balls. I'm not saying he's going to go gangbusters in his matchups, and you lost Josh Jacobs. That could be it for you. Jack Bech. This is a wide receiver that might trend up. 82% snap share, highest of the year. Second highest, week 6, 75% snap share. Philly, Houston, Giants, they might see what they got in Jack Bech. They might see that. I wasn't super high on him, but I do recognize, he's a very dependable wide receiver. Fantasy football-wise, if there's volume in a game script, he could get targets, and that could rack it up the production. I like him at the catch point. I like him downfield. He's not the most savviest in separation, not the fastest, not the best above the rim. He's just dependable at everything. This is a wide receiver you're looking at that could gel well with a very good wide receiver one down the road if they can get better at quarterback. Brian Robinson's a good handcuff running back. Christian McCaffrey goes down. You're going to want him. You're going to want that insurance policy. Game script-wise coming up. Off and on, coming up, solid middle of the road, kind of fine last 3 to 4 weeks, but not super advantageous, not the best, but it's the volume you're looking at. You know he's going to get a lot of touches if Christian McCaffrey goes down. Malik Washington, he's more of a deeper play. 14-team leagues, 16-team leagues, 18-team leagues, more than that, but Pittsburgh, Cincy, Tampa Bay, they might have to let it loose a little bit. He's probably going to get his 5-ish targets, but this could be a game script where you might get lucky. Can't guarantee it, but you might get lucky. Matchups here, very good, very solid for you. Probably ranked 40 to 60 range of wide receivers, 12-team leagues, 10-team leagues. No, just because he's in the video doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but I got to give deep leaguers something. Tank Bigsby, another handcuff running back. You got to have your handcuffs now. You got it. If you're relying heavily on Saquon, you got to have your handcuffs in check. Honestly, because if he goes down, you only got a couple games to go. We do not need to be looking at flyers for 10 weeks down the road anymore. Might as well have your insurance policy in check right now. Mack Hollins, if you want to gamble, he's probably got at least one more game on him to where he'll get you 10 to 15 or more. He's got one more game on him, maybe 2. Buffalo, Baltimore, Jets game, Miami, if you're pushed that far. He might have one more game on him, maybe 2, where he goes off. He's getting work here. Look at this since week 10. 10, 5, 6, 4 in targets. 7 targets against Cleveland. And before that, it was 3, 2, 7, 2, and then 10, 5, 6, 4. He's getting volume. He's good at contested catches. Drake May doesn't care. He'll push it to him. He's good downfield. He's getting it deep downfield. He's getting good average depth of target. He's a good gamble wide receiver, and the Patriots throw the rock. Malik Davis, if you're looking for another handcuff, everybody's looking for the cuff of the Cowboys. Something happens to Javonte Williams, he would be the next man up. could end up being a committee. Jayden Blue is in the doghouse. Like, they ain't letting him sniff the field. He's been banged up off and on. He's fumbled. And you're looking at the addition of Izzy Abanikanda. You're looking at that. Malik Davis, though, would be the next man up. Would be the hand they'd play if something happens to Javonte Williams. Jerry Jeudy, I won't say he's back, but I'll definitely say, like, it's advantageous here. We got matchups where we could get firepower. Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. We're getting targets in this offense. 7-3-4-5. Stefanski's weird. Browns are weird. He's a gamble in the flex, but can give you the upside, especially if he can connect on the deep ball. Bhayshul Tuten fumbled twice last week. It was a wet game. Do not know if they'll give him grace. And really, his value is predicated on Travis Etienne anyways. If Etienne goes down, Bhayshul Tuten might do the fumbles. Before the fumbles, for sure, would turn into Travis Etienne. LaQuint Allen could be in the mix even more now. Since those fumbles, we need sample more games after that to really have a good evaluation. I get it. Coaches will say whatever they'll say in the media, but that the only way they tell the truth is what they do on the field and with their transactions. Bhayshul Tuten, somebody to watch. And going forward, he's a good handcuff for Travis Etienne. Kayshon Boutte, he's going to be in game scripts that are fire here. You got Bills, Baltimore Jets, Miami, off and on game scripts, but got some fire matchups here. He's going to get volume. He's more of a gamble play for the flex. Does have some upside. Was hitting pretty decent before week 10. We're starting to come back a little bit after the bye. Maybe we freshen up. Sean Tucker. Like, if something happens to Bucky, he's getting to work. He's getting touches. He might get a little bit more work than prior to, considering he has earned it. Might crush it around the goal line. But his value is as a handcuff right now. But if Bucky goes down, they got to use him in the run game because Rachaad White sucks. These are the plays we're looking at off the waiver wire for week 15. Let me know who you're picking up in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.